Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Terp Family Fundamentals webinar series. My name is Danielle Walker, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Assistant Director here in the Office of Family Engagement. For those of you who are new, this webinar series is intended to help family members and supporters become informed consultants on campus resources so that you can better support your Terps. This special series welcomes our newest Terps as well, and so I'm really happy to have students as well as their families tuning in today. We're joined by members of the Department of Resident Life, and they're going to discuss everything you need to know about the room assignment release process and what the next steps are in beginning your Maryland residential experience. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please submit those via the Q&A feature. So in the Zoom window, access the Q&A feature within the toolbar. If you don't see that, you may need to click on the three dots that say more to expand your toolbar. To help us answer questions that the majority of you have, I ask that you use the upvote option. So within the Q&A feature, if you see a question that you would also like the answer to, instead of typing that same question, just select the thumbs up icon. This is considered an upvote, and so we'll be keeping an eye out for those to make sure that we answer the questions that most of you want to know. Also, be sure to look at the answered tab as well for the responses to the questions that have been asked. And we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can before the end of the webinar. And then lastly, this webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the Terp Family YouTube channel tomorrow or later tonight. So refer to your confirmation or your reminder email for a link to our YouTube channel. And with that, I will hand off the presentation to Jasmine. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks so much, Danny. We appreciate you continuing to be a partner with us for this series. And I hope where everyone is that you're keeping cool and enjoying your summer so far. We are really, really excited for you to join us today for our Maryland Living 101 webinar. As Danny mentioned, this is really to provide you all with information about assignment release. So let's meet today's presenters. We have some experts in the room here to talk a little bit about what you as a Terp will expect and what your families can also expect as you transition to the University of Maryland. So my name is Jasmine Pelez, and I am the Communications and Outreach Manager for the Department of Resident Life. As you can see, I am a proud alumna of the university, and I'm also proud to say that I lived on campus all 4 years when I was in my undergraduate studies here. We are joined, like I said, by an amazing trio of colleagues that really know their stuff when it comes to housing, and we're really excited to share all this information with you today. So to get to know who we are, I'll pass it over to Glenn Smith.
Thanks, Jasmine. My name is Glenn Smith. I'm one of the assistant directors in the Department of Resident Life, specifically overseeing the assignments office. And I will pass it over to Glo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Glo Beauport. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the manager for assignments and housing processes. Glad to see hopefully both students and their families here today. As Jasmine said, I not only hope you're staying cool, but I also hope you're staying dry. Here's a lot of wetness going on different places. I'm gonna pass it over to Dan.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Harefield. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the program manager for residential and community engagement. I'm also a proud Terp alum. Also lived on campus for all 4 years, was a residence assistant. Love this campus. Love to chat with you all here this afternoon.
We are just a proud room of former Terps here. I love it. So let's get into our agenda. Over the next hour, we're really excited to share information, like I said, with you about our students' next step in their Maryland residential experience, and that is gaining your assignment. At the center of this webinar, we're really going to be talking about the details about that upcoming assignment release, during which all of our new to housing students will receive where they will be living with us in the residence halls come the beginning of fall 2025. For additional context, we'll also talk about the roommate finder process, which concluded at the end of June and gave our new students the opportunity to explore some potential roommates if they were interested. And then we'll also fill you in on what you can expect to receive on assignment day and what are the next steps right after that. We'll also round out with a look at some of our campus partnerships and vendors that you might be interested in to make your space your own when you come on campus with us. And then at the end, as Danny mentioned, we'll go through some questions that you might have, and we'll also flag some reminders for you that you should keep in mind as we progress through the summer ahead of August for move-in day. So without further ado, let's get into it because we definitely have a ton to chat about. So I will hand it over to Glo.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you all, first and foremost, who participated in our roommate finder process, as Jasmine mentioned, concluded at the end of June. More than 5,000 new to housing students were eligible to participate in the roommate finder process, and about 30% opted to form a roommate group during this process. In total, we received approximately 2,200 roommate requests on behalf of incoming residents looking to form a roommate group. With that, if you did not participate in the roommate finder or find a match during that time, please know you're not alone. You are also joining many other incoming residents looking at those numbers and that percentage who chose to be manually assigned a roommate by our residential life team, someone like myself or Glenn, someone that they had not previously known or selected themselves. So remember, we want you all to know that meeting a new roommate can lead to a really meaningful roommate relationship. So we share this again to say, don't worry if you did not find someone during the process. Something overall to note about the roommate finder process and those who did find a match, remember that those will be strongly considered. However, we may not be able to guarantee every request. And that the reason why we may not be able to guarantee a lot of the, not a lot, but some of the requests, I'll go into in this next slide. So you're wondering, how does our team meet the challenge of assigning more than 5,000 new to housing students? Here are some of the housing options that we have to consider. As we have already shared, we have a large incoming first year class beginning with us this fall. Ooh, excited about that. But given that tremendous interest in living on campus with us, we have remained committed to providing on-campus housing to all first-year students. When assigning, myself and our team, we are thorough and we take into account multiple considerations, including this first tab here, approved medical housing accommodations. This is someone who went through the process with the Accessibilities and Disability Services Office and were approved for an accommodation. The Living Learning Program participants, such as those in Gemstone, IBH, or Carillon, and academic program participations, and of course, the verified roommate requests. Additionally, our team also accounts for housing preferences, such as living in our female-only residence hall or living nearby the Maryland Hillel Center. Some of the other housing options or preferences that you see are noted there, such as substance-free or limited visitation. Those get taken into consideration as well. Glenn's going to talk to you about some more criteria that we take into consideration. Glenn?
Thanks, Glo. And let me also add my congratulations and welcome to the University of Maryland. We're happy to see you and welcome you to our beautiful campus. I'll be talking about criteria and placements. And as you can see on the slide, those are but some of the criteria used when making this room assignments: application date, gender preferences, housing options. There's also living learning program, but ultimately space availability. And as you know, incoming students are not able to request a specific space or a specific building or a room type. So you're assigned to whatever spaces there are remaining after our returning students had chosen a space in March. So in formulating assignments, our team will also review and account for those additional criteria. Due to the incredible interest in living on campus, new to housing residents will be assigned throughout the spectrum of our housing options, which include traditional halls, suites, apartments, and houses on Fraternity Row. Students placed in semi-suites and suites, apartments, and the houses on the row have the opportunity to live in areas of campus other than traditional halls. Our staff, including their resident assistants, resident director, are available 24 hours a day to support students in their transition to campus. I want to point out a couple options that you may be assigned to and what your experience could be like. For example, if you are assigned to a single room, and we will have a number of incoming students assigned to single rooms, um, you may say that, well, the good news is that I don't have a roommate. So when I go to sleep, I don't have to worry about their sleeping habits. But it will be incumbent on you to be proactive when it comes to socialization. So you'll need to go out and take advantage of the many opportunities that we have, both in our residence halls as well as throughout the campus. You'll find out about some of these areas when you move in and have your floor meeting with your resident assistant floor meetings. But you'll definitely want to take advantage of the many opportunities that there are. And then when you go home at night, you don't have to have a roommate to keep you up all night. Students who are in suites, apartments, and semi-suites, you will be living probably with upperclassmen. Suites are 3 or 4 bedrooms with a shared living room and a shared bathroom. Semi-suites are 2 bedrooms that are connected, holding 4 students total, connected by an in-room bathroom. And then the apartments are in South Hill community and in the Leonardtown community. And again, those are 3 or 4 bedrooms. You share a kitchen and a living space and at least 1 bathroom. And then finally, our houses on the row are new this year. They are similar to traditional halls, except for they have access to the kitchen, a shared kitchen, and then there's also shared community bathrooms on each floor. Again, you'll need to take advantage of the many opportunities for socialization. The benefits of being with upperclassmen is they've been through this before. They've been, whether they were a senior or junior or a sophomore, they will be able to point out the many pointers that of transitioning to living on campus and just, where are my classes at? Show me where this building is. So there's lots of benefits of having a older student as a roommate. And just keep in mind that the houses on fraternity row will be managed by the Department of Residence Life this year. We have 4 buildings that are exclusive for residence hall students and not by any fraternity or sorority organization. And for more information, you can visit our website to find out a little bit more about the houses on row. Next slide, please. Here's an important date to note, July 17th, which is right around the corner. Beginning on July 17th, you will receive an email between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. announcing that your room assignment for the upcoming academic year is ready to view. This email will list your room assignment and point you to the housing portal where you can find even more up-to-date information, such as your roommate or roommates and their contact information. Additionally, you'll be given your assignment move-in date and time. To ensure efficient flow of traffic on campus residents will move in between August 27th and August 29th. As a general overview, primarily living learning program students arrive on Wednesday, August 27th. Additional new students will move in on Thursday, August 28th. Our priority is to support students to move in, ensure all can access our campus with as much ease as possible. If you are unable to arrive on campus during your assigned time, that's okay. You can arrive at your assigned time, or you're welcome to move in anytime after 4 p.m. of the day of your assigned arrival. On your housing portal, you will also find your mailing address. Use the designated format as your mailing address for snail mail and packages. Please do not ship any items to your mailing address prior to your arrival on campus. We can only accept items to the residence halls after you have arrived and moved in. If you are moving in from further away, you may want to look into options through the Amazon Hub or a FedEx location and take some time to explore possible options. We do not have direct partnerships with off-campus housing shipping or mailing organizations. And we want to remind you that you may receive your assignment email at a different time than your roommate or another Terp. we'll be reaching out to more than 5,000, even 6,000 students. So your email will hit your inbox a little bit later on that day or thereafter. We encourage you to keep cool and know that your assignment is on the way. And with that, I will pass it back to Jasmine.
Thank you, Glenn. And just some additional next steps to keep in mind. I know that was a ton of information, but we'll receive all of that information and then you might think, okay, what comes after I get my assignment with my email and all of that ton of information? And here are a couple bullet points just to keep in mind as you continue through this process after receiving your assignment. We really encourage you to keep an open mind. Living in our residence halls is really a wonderful once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get to know other people, to make friends, and immerse yourself in a completely new community. And know that we've got your back along the way. We have a continuous support system here for you as you make the transition to college campus life, from our assignments team that you can email or give a phone call to our in-hall community support staff, like your RA that you'll meet on the day of move-in. There are continuous support systems all around to really help you through this transition. And once you receive your assignment, like I said, keep an open mind about where you're placed and your room type and the incredible opportunity that awaits you after you move in. We do want to encourage students to be prepared to have a roommate. We received a tremendous amount of interest for on-campus housing from our incoming Terps. And like I said before, we really remain committed to housing all of our first-year students. So we will have a full house come this fall, and that's exciting for us because that gives you even more opportunities to meet new people and become enmeshed in our community. And like I said, new on-campus Terps should really be prepared to share a space with their roommate. Our housing occupancy for this year includes a significant amount of double rooms, more than about 70%, and then a smaller percent of triples and quads, meaning that a majority of our students will share a space with another person. So just be prepared and have that mindset going into when you receive your assignment. And once you do, and if you do see that you have a roommate, here's a really great first step. Connect with that person, get to know your roommate, and again, have an open mind to who you'll be sharing a space with. When reaching out to your roommate, here's a couple of introductory topics to kind of break the ice. Y'all can talk about what are each of your hobbies, talk about your interests, and maybe even discuss what are your study habits, what are expectations that you would expect from the other person when you do get into that study mode come midterms and finals and all that good stuff. But most importantly, get to know that other person so you guys can start off on a really, really great note. We do want to highlight for you to check out our before move-in webpage for more roommate relationship tips. And as you connect with your roommate, we really encourage you to start planning for your shared space, right? Talk about items that you'll bring, items that you might consider sharing, items that you wouldn't want to consider sharing. And also you can talk about the possibility of coordinating the purchase or rental of appliances like a mini fridge or a micro fridge. We'll talk a little bit more about our vendors later on, but just to start that conversation, get things going on the right note and really getting to know this other person. And then, like I said, there are things that you should plan on bringing and things that you should not plan on bringing. Things you should absolutely leave at home include privately owned micromobility devices, such as like electric scooters. All of that information is posted on our before move-in webpage, which I'll share a link shortly so that you have that. But it's also navigational through our Resident Life website. So just a couple things to keep in mind as next steps after you get over the initial excitement of receiving your assignment. And now I will toss it over to Glo for some additional steps after that.
Thank you, Jasmine. Continuing on with next steps and what happens after you receive your assignment. Please know that after you receive your assignment, we do not have the ability to change your room before move-in. We go into a period that you may also hear referred to as a room freeze. Many students are excited to live in the residence halls, and we are at full capacity, occupancy, full capacity this fall. We will offer, though, a room change process, and that freeze will be lifted in September. At that time, students can request to be reassigned, and every effort will be made to accommodate the space as it allows. If you have any concerns regarding your assignment, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are here for you. Our email address, I'm pretty sure Jasmine is going to put it in the chat, is at reslife@umd.edu. Again, we are here for you, and know that the next opportunity for a room change will not be prior to move-in, but in September, once you have arrived. And next, I'm going to pass it to Dan to talk about some partnerships and vendors.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Glo. So I guess I'm that transition point to now start thinking a little bit about the planning for move-in process. Getting ready to come to campus can feel like a lot to manage, and we have a few partnerships that help lighten the load a little bit. The first thing we get a lot of questions about is mini fridges. Students are certainly welcome to bring their own mini fridge, which you can get from any standard department store. But we have a partnership with a company called Breeze. You'll also see them referred to in some elements as My Fridge Rental. They just went through a name change this summer. But Breeze offers a stress-free way to have a fridge without needing to purchase or transport it yourself. So save a little bit of that room in the car, and you can rent a fridge through this program. Most buildings don't allow in-unit microwaves. There are some centrally located ones in lounge spaces for communal use, certainly, but all buildings are approved for what Breeze provides, which is called a micro fridge. It's a microwave refrigerator combo, and it's an incredible way to have that resource directly in the room. So you have those communal spaces if you need them, but we also have this rental option if you'd like to avoid having to purchase your own mini fridge and have it provided for you for the academic year. If you place that reservation after you receive your assignment and by early August, certainly the earlier the better, we will have it delivered directly to your room. And no worry, no fuss, easy going, right? So place that reservation by early August. Breeze will be around campus during the move-in process if there are any questions or any late orders to try to manage those as they come in. But just to kind of serve as another reminder, you certainly can bring your own regular mini fridge. The micro fridge is specifically through this rental program. If one student orders a micro fridge, which is limited to one of these units per room, the other student could bring their own regular mini fridge, and that's okay. So just highlighting those pieces related to our partnership with Breeze first. The next one is with Bedloft. There are certainly a lot of ways that students are creative about how they want to arrange their room, but this partnership that we have with bedloft.com supports new creative options for moving the furniture around and really making your room feel like home. You can certainly purchase regular bed risers, standard 1 foot tall, square shaped for bed ends type of bed risers. But the Bedloft company allows you to raise the bed significantly higher. You can see the image on the screen with this slide to essentially bunk bed level height. And that allows for the storage of furniture directly underneath the bed, or you could arrange the beds in an L shape if you want to get kind of creative. But certainly just a lot more flexibility with how you want to set up the room. The Bedloft kit includes the bed ends, which, as you can see in that image, a ladder is built into that bed end to climb up top. There is a safety rail attached to the side so that you can comfortably sleep up top, no worries. And then a little shelf for any sort of personal effects while you're up there in bed. So we have this as a great option that you can rent for the year as well. This has a deadline of about August 10th. If you, again, put in your order similar to Breeze between the assignment release and August 10th, they will bring it to campus and install it before you move in. So we've got both of these vendors available to you. Both will be accessible during the move-in process if there are questions or late rental requests that come in. The last partner to highlight is IKEA. We have a store right here in College Park, and they are an incredible partner working with us for both the move-in and fall welcome experiences. Prior to opening, we're going to be sending out information for how to place online orders through a special system. that will bring those orders to campus for pickup during the move-in program. We'll have more information about this coming out soon, but this is a great way to, again, lighten that load, pack a little bit less, and pick up items after you arrive here in College Park. The IKEA team is also going to be present during our fall welcome events, including one of our marquee huge events on McKeldin Mall, which is called Free Fest on Friday, August 29th. They're going to be promoting their products and resources and giving away all sorts of free IKEA goods. There will even be a giant 8-foot inflatable representation of their big blue bag on campus for take pictures with, just for a little bit of extra fun. But then after classes start on Thursday, September 4th, we are going to be doing a back to school night shopping experience over at the IKEA store, providing shuttle service from the campus over to IKEA and back. So students who may have ordered items that they didn't pick up during that move-in period will be able to get those items during that time, or go shopping for other things that maybe they realized after they moved in that they would like to have in their room, and engage in all of the fun activities that IKEA is going to have available that evening, including a little table building competition that they really had a lot of fun with this past fall. So we'll provide the transportation, and you'll be able to enjoy the experience over at IKEA College Park. That's it for our vendors at this time. I think I'm passing it back to Jasmine.
Yes, you are. Awesome. Thank you all. So just to round us out, I'll talk a little bit of some reminders and what we can look forward to. As noted, beginning July 17th, that is when our students will begin to receive their housing assignments. And as noted before, because we're sending it to almost 6,000 students, you might get yours early in the morning or a little bit later in the afternoon. We encourage you to not panic. It will come, but it just might take a little bit longer to get to you compared to maybe your roommate or some other Terps that you might be in communication with. Additionally, we really want to encourage you to join us for our final Maryland Living 101 webinar, which will be hosted on August 7th at 7 p.m. It's a little bit of a time change than the first two, but in this webinar, we're really going to focus on all things move-in, right? How do you navigate to campus? Who should you bring with you on move-in day? What are some of the things that you can look forward to after you move into your res home? All of that we're going to cover on August 7th. So we really encourage you to join us once again. I will be sending out an invitation to our incoming students, and also an additional one to families, so that you will have that information later on closer to August. Additionally, I really want to encourage you, especially our students, to check your emails because we are going to begin sending a ton of information your way that is helpful in building relationships, getting you prepped for move-in day. So we really encourage you not only to check your emails, but take a look, take a moment to read through them. There's a ton of information there, but a lot of it is incredibly relevant to the move-in experience and will likely answer a lot of questions that you might have. So just a couple of reminders there. And then, of course, if you have any questions about move-in day, about your housing assignment, we encourage you to give us a call or send us an email. The phone number for our office is on the screen, as well as our email. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We really look forward to hearing from our students, right? Getting to know you, hearing your concerns, and helping out as much as we can. So at this point, we are going to chat through some of the most frequently asked questions and questions maybe that we didn't get to yet. And I'll turn it over to Danny to help with that.
Great, thank you all. So I do have some questions to get us started. Can you share about how the move-in times are assigned? And go over again the early move-in request form?
I can speak to the early move-in request form first. So after students receive their assignment, they're able to go into our StarRez housing portal, and there will be a link on the main page that connects directly to an early move-in request form. And our administrative operations team reviews those on a rolling basis. Most of the time, early arrivals are really specifically during the couple days before main move-in. So that Sunday to Tuesday block of time is where students can make requests for moving in early. A couple things to note with early arrival is that not all campus services are fully up and running during that time. So for example, the dining halls don't officially open for anytime dining until 4 p.m. on Wednesday, August 27th. So planning ahead and just kind of thinking about what your dining options might look like in those couple days beforehand is really helpful to consider. And not all campus facilities are fully up and running, but our staff are managing the residence halls. You'll be able to check in smoothly, and we'll be here to answer any questions or provide direction as those items come up.
Thank you.
I'll attempt the first part. So we have a team we have put together that is planning those dates when particular students move in. Some of the things that they take into account is the traffic, both off and on campus, which buildings will have a higher volume of move-ins that particular day, and they take all that data and come up with a move-in date for each student. And again, just remind you, if you're not able to move in at your specific day or time, you can always move in 4 p.m. after the 4 p.m. of your date of move-in or thereafter.
Thank you. And is there a specific move-in date for international students, or would they just be assigned just as a regular student within the regular move-in dates?
They'll be assigned a normal move-in date, but if they need to move in earlier than that, the Sunday before opening at 12 p.m. is the earliest they can request, and they would go log into the housing portal and request the early arrival starting on July 18th.
Great, thank you. There was a question about the scooters and micromobility. It was mentioned that students are not able to bring them, but they are seen around campus. So is there an option to buy or rent them? And can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in here. So we do have partnerships with two different organizations, VO-Ride and Capital Bike Share, as far as some of the publicly available micromobility options that are around campus. Those there are actually special UMD discounts for accessing those systems. So students can use those freely around the campus. They don't have to maintain those devices because the organizations manage them for charging and repair and all of that as they're used. As far as personally owned ones, the answer is no, they are not allowed in the residence halls. We don't have charging stations or charging spaces for students. They are a fire hazard, unfortunately, because of the lithium batteries that a lot of those private e-scooters and e-bikes have in them. So for fire safety reasons and just general kind of safety about the kind of management of these personal devices, we do not allow them in the residence halls, and they will not be able to get registered with our Department of Transportation Services if a student is living on campus.
Thank you. And also in the chat, I put, there was some information that was made available within the last day or two regarding micromobility. We're in the process of getting this information out more widely to families. It has been posted in the Terp Family eConnection portal. So if you are in there, you should be able to see it. But I did put it in the chat, both here within the Zoom space and also in the live stream chat. So you can view that information as well there. And then while we're on the topic of transportation, I did see some questions about parking. So I'm going to, in the chat, also put a link to our student parking information. and where students can go to register for parking on campus. There was a question about assigning students to rooms and how often do you put students in triples in the residence halls? Can someone share about how you go about doing that?
Sure. So as we mentioned in the presentation, of about 6% of the rooms in our inventory are triple rooms. As far as how they are assigned, amongst all those criteria that we mentioned earlier, students who have a roommate request, students who apply a little bit later, if you're in a living learning program, all of those are factors into your assignment, not just one thing. Just an example, in Anne Arundel Hall, students who are in honors humanities, uh, they have just as many triples as they have double rooms. So they're in that particular program, there's a good chance that you could be assigned to a triple or a double room. So that will vary from building to building. But again, the positive is that you have three roommates. You can start finding your squad amongst those two roommates and then move out further from there amongst your floor and building. So it's always another opportunity to meet more students.
Thank you. And just to clarify, I saw a question in the live stream chat about they just want to confirm they need to leave their personal scooters at home and use the university provided ones. So they're not necessarily provided by the university. So you will still have to pay to use them just like you would in like out in town. But because you're a student, we have agreements with I believe it's VO, where you can find them easily accessible on campus in many areas to use them on and off campus. There was a question about assigning roommates. And you mentioned this in our last session, but can you share about students submitting requests if they want to request to be assigned with a certain person, a certain student as a roommate?
At this time, we've concluded our roommate finder process, so their students are not eligible to request specific roommates. We concluded that process just the end of June. So if they would like to, if they did not have the opportunity to match with a roommate at the end of June, their next opportunity to room with someone of their choosing would be in September during that room change process that we alluded to earlier in the presentation.
Thank you. And a clarification on the mini fridge and micro fridge option. Can a student have one roommate have a mini fridge and then another one have the micro fridge combo rental in the same
Yes,
room?
I've seen, Danny, lots of questions about that. So to be very clear, it is one micro fridge unit per resident hall room. But your roommates or roommates are more than welcome to bring an approved an approved mini fridge. Our website, I believe, states under 3.6 cubic feet and those perimeters of such. So please look at check out our before move-in page. But as long as it meets the criteria that we listed on our website, a student is allowed one micro fridge unit and an additional mini fridge unit in their space.
Yes, there were lots and lots of micro fridge, mini fridge questions. So thank you. I see there was a question here. Are residence halls that are doubles have, or do residence halls that are doubles have communal bathrooms? Do the suite share a bathroom? And can they request a suite or be assigned to one?
As Glenn mentioned earlier in the presentation, our incoming cohort will be assigned all across campus in various housing types. Suites do share a private bathroom. Those can be from 4 to 8 students in a unit. Semi-suites are 2 doubles combined by a shared bathroom. Apartments have a kitchen and a common space to differentiate about our types of living that they can have, in addition to doubles, triples, quads, singles. The other part of the question was, can they request? Again, unfortunately, at this time, we are not taking, well, we never actually allow, students to select where they would like to live. So if they had a preference of suite versus a traditional double room, those are not preferences that we're noting at this time, but do not hesitate to reach out to us, maybe if you have a specific scenario in mind, and we can reiterate there or have a conversation in more detail there. The other part of the question, Danny, that I missed, I know is hall types, preferences. I don't recall the third.
It was. What's going on? The question was about, do they have communal bathrooms?
Yes, thank you.
Residence halls having communal bathrooms.
So I adjust the bathrooms in suites and semi-suites. Our traditional halls, they have shared communal bathrooms. Some of our halls do have single use or all gender private use bathrooms or restrooms that also can be found on our pages specific to each hall, but that is not every single one. We have a lovely resource on our website, Jasmine, if you could help me out with this. I can't remember which page it lives under, but it's called At the Glance. It's an overall resource that speaks to restrooms, the ratios, the types of living. I think that's honestly a great resource that we provide that speaks to some of those things.
And can I just add to Glow's reporting is that we have a very small number of traditional halls that have an in-room bathroom. So some doubles, some triples, and some quads may have a bathroom within their room.
Yes,
We
that
should
too.
also point out that if you have an in-room bathroom, whether it's a traditional hall, semi-suite, suite, or an apartment, the student is responsible for cleaning that bathroom.
Thank you. And regarding medications being sent, and this may also lead into just the mailing address for residents, can they have things such as medications be mailed, or does that need to be mailed to the health center or specific pharmacies nearby? And then also maybe sharing the process for students to receive mail in the residence halls and what that entails.
So for the shipping of medication to receive here in College Park, that's really up to the student and family to decide how best to send those items here to the campus area. If you want to receive them directly at the service desk versus the health center versus an off-campus option like a CVS pharmacy or what have you, that is up to you. As far as just generally receiving mail and packages, we have mail and package services throughout all of our residence hall communities. In the high rises and our larger buildings across campus, there are main lobbies with service desks where students can pick up packages. They'll get notifications either through email, or if they download the UMD app, they can get them directly in there as well and see what pending package pickups they have available. And for all of our smaller buildings, there are centralized community locations with service desks for that same access for packages. And then mail, we do still have physical mailboxes in our residence halls. If students do receive mail, they'll be provided their access to those mail rooms to pick up items at their convenience.
Thank you. And then in the YouTube chat, there was a question about students who were above average height and would like a longer bed. Is there a request process, or what is the criteria for requesting that?
Yes, great question. They can email our office, as you see our email there, reslife@umd.edu, with proof of height on preferably a government issued ID, and we take the process on from there.
Thank you. I think that's gotten through most of the questions. For those of you helping answer questions in the Q&A, do you have any that you want to answer live? If you do, this would be a good time to do that.
There was a question that I think Glo's answering right now about if you have a roommate, what are your room type options? If we try to guarantee all roommates as best that we can, but you will be assigned to a minimum of a double or a triple or a quad, or semi-suite, or a suite within a suite or an apartment. Anything that holds two students, you could be assigned. So again, pretty much across campus, a roommate pair will be assigned.
Thank you. I do see some questions about the height of being able to loft the beds, like if you can do it just halfway if you're using the bed lofts, and how much space would be underneath. Can you share about those dimensions and if they are able to loft them just halfway?
So the lofting kits, as the image showed in the previous one of the previous slides, are at a set height, which is about 5 feet of clearance underneath the bed. Thank you, Jasmine. So that is really the option that's available for that bed lofting. There are some beds that have adjustability where you can raise and lower on this kind of standard bed frame that's provided with each piece of furniture in the room. But if you want only a little bit of lift off the ground, then bed risers that you can get from any department store, again, the square shaped ones are your best bet for a little extra clearance under the bed.
Thank you.
Dan, I hate to put you on the spot with this, but I think you'll know. I saw a question about what we recommend students bringing for orientation. And it seems like they're coming to their orientation in a couple of weeks. Can you maybe answer that?
You mean just like generally what to bring for the on-campus experience for those couple days?
Yes, and it mentions bedding if bedding is needed.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, yeah, I would say general clothes, toiletries, and bedding is recommended. There are some bedding options that are provided through orientation, but it's pretty limited. So if you want to kind of bring your own items for comfort, certainly that is recommended. As far as the experience over the course of the orientation experience or the 2 days, you're going to be busy, you're going to be engaged. Your orientation leaders are going to be taking you all over campus. So you don't have to really plan for anything other than just the very short stay in one of our residence halls.
Danny, I checked one out for Answer Live. The student want to know or a parent want to know if what is, can a non-living learning program student live in a living learning program building? And the answer to that is yes, as some of the programs will not fill all of the rooms in their building. So then we will again, assignments are made on space availability. So if there's a space open in a living learning program, you will be assigned there. Keep in mind that although the living learning programs will have things planned for their students, your RA will have things planned for all the students on the floor, regardless of whether they're in a living learning program or not. So between the RA programming, the lounges, still opportunities for socialization.
Thank you. Let's see. Um, are ice makers permitted in the residence halls?
We have a community staff member who can take that one.
Or at least the list of, I know there's like a what not to bring webpage. But I just am not sure where to find that at.
That's on the before move-in webpage. I can take a quick gander at it.
Yeah, I know we get a lot of questions about appliances, bringing those into the residence halls. One general rule of thumb is that if it has an open heating element, leave it at home. Certainly fire safety is a big thing that we want to pay attention to. So, items like Keurigs or a blender, like that type of item is technically okay. You can bring that, but anything with an open heating element is a no. And I think we're just going to verify real quick about the ice maker question.
Not on our items to leave at home, but I think maybe it's something that we'll have to double check about just to make sure we're not introducing something that should not be in our residence halls. I did also see, as an aside, a question about whether or not air fryers are permitted, and we do ask that you leave that at home. Do not bring that into the residence halls. And extension cords. I think someone had also asked that, but surge protectors are permitted.
Yeah, essentially, like any basic extension cord that has no surge protection whatsoever, leave those. But if it's a outlet extender that has surge protection, a power strip has surge protection, those are okay.
I'll again post in the chat this webpage before move-in where it has items to bring and items to leave at home, so that everyone has access to it again. Some folks might have joined late, so they might not have seen that. Please, please take a look at that. And also feel free to review some of our other web pages. We already have one about move-in day. So questions that you might have, might be able to find answers on our website. Of course, you can always email us just as well too.
I do want to jump in real quick with one more reminder. I think Glenn highlighted this a little bit earlier. Please do not ship items to campus before your student has checked in. If you can imagine, we house over 12,000 students across all of our residence halls and partners in the campus area here. And we cannot accept all of those items before we physically have students here and have our desks fully up and running kind of after the move-in process. So if you are trying to ship any items to the College Park area, please do not ship them to your student until they've fully checked in, and use the variety of different options around College Park if you need to get things here before they arrive. Or just send item or send them with the basic necessities. And once they get here, we have the partnership with IKEA. There are plenty of stores and resources in the general area. You can kind of manage things from that point. But save the shipping until after they've checked out.
Yes, thank you. And there was a question about how information is going to be communicated to students. So the primary method of communication across the university is to the students' Terp mail email address. So please encourage your student, or for the students on the call, please be mindful of that and be checking your Terp mail email regularly, especially leading up to the beginning of the semester. I have one other question, and then I'll give some time for the folks on the chat to answer anything. Are students allowed to, well, one, can you share about laundry? And also, are students allowed to bring irons for their clothing?
So to talk a little bit about our laundry, the laundry rooms are accessible to students in either the basement of their residence hall or in one of the adjacent buildings if they're in one of the kind of smaller building community areas, such as the buildings in the North Hill community or South Hill community. The laundry, the use of the washers and dryers is included in your housing fee. So you don't have to pay anything extra for wash or dry, just have to bring your own detergent. And you're free to use those machines as you need to. We do not provide irons or ironing boards directly in the laundry rooms or in the student rooms. So certainly, if you need to bring an iron, I did double check, is that on our approved versus unapproved list?
No, I don't see it here, but I don't know if there's a community staff member who has insight on that about clothing irons.
I know it kind of straddles the line about the open heating element piece there. So, we always lean towards safety, which I think should hopefully be appreciated by the group here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there are no other questions specific. Yeah, I don't see the ones that are here are being responded to, so I will go ahead and close us out. Thank you everyone for taking the time to join us this afternoon. Contact information for the Department of Resident Life is here available on this last slide. So if you do have any remaining questions, please reach out to their team and they'll be happy to assist. As I bring this webinar to a close, I do want to remind everyone that this webinar has been recorded. And so once I get it downloaded, I will upload it to the Terp Family YouTube channel. And you will be able to view the recording and share it with your family members or supporters. You'll also receive an email with a link to the recording as well as a survey. So please let us know how we did, how we can improve, and also if there are topics that you are interested in learning about, let us know. And I am happy to reach out to those departments to see about partnering with them on a webinar as well. We welcome your thoughts on this process. Thank you again, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your day.